Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. We are looking at a problem that has to do with scaling, some conversion of um, links, as well as scaling and putting that into a situation here. So we have a problem from CPM course 3. Actually, this is course 2, sorry. Course 2, CPM course 2, and this is section, section is that? Oh, 9.2.1. 9.2.1. Number 9 58. So it says Ellen is building a scale model of the space shuttle. A space shuttle is approximately 122 feet long and a wingspan of 78 feet. So, I mean, we're going to do a quick little model here, right? So we've got, it's 122 feet long in this direction, right? 122 feet. And then it's got this wingspan on here of some sort. We've got an airplane there. That wingspan from here to here is 78 feet. Okay, so that's my image, right? So 122 feet long and 78 feet wide, if you will. Okay, so it asks how many inches long is the space shuttle. So this is the feet. So I basically need to convert the length, which is the 122, into inches. So there's 12 inches, right? 12 inches for 1 foot, 12 to 1, 12 inches for 1 foot. So if I have 122 feet, I want to figure out how many inches. I'm going to multiply 12 times 122 to determine how many inches that is, correct? Let's do that math real quick here. We got 12 times 122. And you end up with, there we go, 1,464 inches. Okay, so that's how many inches its length is, right? So it's 122 feet, but 1,464 inches. All right. Ellen plans to build her model so that 1 centimeter on the model represents 10 inches on the space shuttle. So for every 1 centimeter, this is going to be her scale, it's 10 inches. Or you could say every 10 inches on the reel is 1 centimeter on the model, right? So you can write it either way. You're comparing, this is kind of that unit rate or ratio of my scaling. So we might use either one or both of these depending upon what they're asking me to do. So it says write a proportion to show this relationship for the length of her model. Find how long her model will be in centimeters. So I know the length of it is 1,464 inches. I want to figure out how many centimeters that is. So if I look, I'm going to use this one here. So I know that 10 inches for every 1 centimeter. So what I want to know now is I have 1,464 inches, and I'm using this one because I'm have my inches on top. So excuse me, when I write another ratio, my inches are still at the top, and I'm trying to figure out how many centimeters. So this is that ratio or proportion that you would solve for that missing piece. So to figure this out, right, we would do what? It's you can look at it as a giant one. 10 times something is that, right? So my giant one, I can solve this by a giant one. I could create an equation. I can do cross multiplication. Okay. Basically, what I'm going to look at is because I just have 1 centimeter here and I'm multiplying by one times my giant one, I'm going to use my giant one. And I know that 10 times 1,000, excuse me, 146, I didn't give myself enough room, 146.4 is my giant one. 146.4. Why? Because when you multiply by 10, that decimal place would move over, right? Decimal place moves over and it actually becomes 1,464, right? So that's my giant one. So 1 times that. So that tells me that right there would be my centimeters. So it would be 146.4 centimeters long. That's the model, the length of the model based on using that scale factor. Now it says write and solve a proportion to find her model's wingspan. So let's do it with the wingspan. So again, the wingspan, and I'm going to show it a different way. I'm going to use this one this time. I know that 1 centimeter is 10 inches, right? And I know this case, the wingspan in inches. I got to first find the wingspan in inches. I don't actually have that yet. So what is the wingspan in inches? Wingspan is 52 feet. So 52, wingspan is 78 feet. So the wingspan, I'm going to put, first of all, figure that in inches. So it's 78 times 12. I get 936. So 936 inches is the wingspan in inches. So now what I have, I'm using my scale factor, and again, I'm gonna try to figure out. I know that it's 936 inches, but I want to figure out how many centimeters. So one more time, I could use a giant one because I can say, well, I got to go 10 times something to get 936. Or I can even solve an equation here. I have an equation that might be something I want to show. I can call this 1 over 10 or 1/10, get rid of the units, is equal to x over 936. So I can write an equation to solve for that missing piece, right? Because I have a proportion here. And that would mean multiply both sides by 936 to get that. But I'm going to go back because my giant one was right there, and I'm going to use it again because the giant one in this case is just going to be 93.6, right? 93.6 is what gets multiplied top and bottom, because 10 times 93.6, move the decimal once, you get 936. So that tells me that the wingspan is going to be 93.6 centimeters wingspan. Okay, so far so good. Last one. Remember that 1 inch is approximately equal to 2.54 centimeters. How many inches long will her model be? So if we go back, now I want to figure out, I know that her model is going to be that many centimeters. And I know that 1 inch, so I'm going to write my ratio. 1 inch is the same thing as 2.54 centimeters, right? So I have a conversion factor, a ratio. So I'm going to set that equal to my situation here that I want to know how many inches. So this is where the question mark is going to go. And I know the length is 146.4 centimeters. So the model is already 146.4 centimeters. So I just need to convert I could look for the scale factor here, or again, I could write an equation like I did with this. So I'm going to do the equation this time. So it's 1 over 2.54 is equal to x over 146.4. So solving for x would be multiplying both sides by 146.4. Because when you multiply that cancels that out, right? It gets your x alone. So I end up with x by itself. So on this side, I have to also multiply by 146.4, multiply over 1. And then you end up with, let's see. So that gets me 146.4 over 2.54. So now I just divide those two numbers. I'm for sure going to be using a calculator on this one. 146.4 divided by 2.54. And it looks like I get approximately 57 point, and I'll just round to the nearest 10th, 6. So that means it will be 57.6. Her model will be 57.6 inches long. Write it over here. Lots of conversions. Needed a calculator for this question, but it's the whole point of it is to be able to write these ratios, the equal proportion, right? Write a ratio into a proportion where you have your scaling equal to what you're looking for, and making sure you're just putting the same unit on either the top or the bottom of the fraction each time. Then solving it as an equation or solving it using a giant 1. Okay, there we go.